Hi, my name is Danny Ramos, and welcome to this week's edition of Hispanic Speak Out TV, brought to you on Bright House Cable, Channel 49, every Tuesday night at 9:30. This is the place where bilingual Hispanics get feature news information about their own community, and if you're not Hispanic, it's a great place to learn about the Hispanic community. I'm here with Philip Berry. Philip Berry is the president of Hispanic Achievers North U.S., and I'm here with Lisa Petrie, who is the president of Hispanic Achievers South U.S. So we're going to give you a brushstroke on what Hispanic Achievers is all about. And this is the first time that we do that on our own TV show. Usually we talk about other people. Two things that I want to bring up to you today. Don't forget the Hispanic Achievers license plate is available at 360 DMV offices throughout the state. You can do your Orgullo de Ser Hispano by putting a Hispanic Achiever plate on your car. The proceeds of the plate go to nonprofit organizations throughout the state of Florida. Also, in order to be self-funded, Hispanic Achievers has developed programs so we don't have to depend so much on outside money to run our nonprofit organization. So we've launched several profit-making programs or companies that will be funding for us. In other words, we'll be self-funded because these companies, we own the interest in these companies. One of those is a publishing company called YLS. YLS stands for Your Life Support. In other words, we've developed some projects, publishing projects, that help people and support their lives during the course of a year. And one of those publishing projects is the Lawyers Consumer Directory for Central Florida. This is what it looks like. And this Lawyers Consumer Directory can be found in 165 7-Eleven stores. It's free, and it has tips for the consumer on foreclosure, bankruptcy, how to hire a lawyer, and all other kinds of issues that regular people like us face during legal crisis. So go down to your local 7-Eleven store, pick up a copy, and it's absolutely free. Guys, how are you?
Great. How's it going, Danny?
Good, good. You come all the way down from New York to visit us Southerners?
Yes, no, it's really good to be here. I was down here for some meetings. And
so, you're a Southerner too now.
Well, I happen to have a place in Fort Lauderdale in addition to New York, so I like to get down here every once in a while. Yeah,
and you are, you also serve as Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees of City University of New York. Tell us a little bit about the university.
Well, the City University of New York is the largest educational college system, urban system in the United States. It consists of 25 colleges, and within that framework you have community colleges, 7 community colleges. You have graduate programs, you have 4-year programs, and we offer a number of different curricula throughout the City University system. There are over 300,000 students who attend our system throughout the New York area.
And how many, I think there's 27 or 29?
It's 25 different colleges within the whole framework.
It's 29 different campuses.
Exactly. Well, different colleges. Each of them are separate colleges, in fact. You know, and some of the colleges, there are different campuses, but they all have their own. For example, each of them has their own president. You know, each particular college, and they all have a different focus. So, for example, you have the City College itself, which will have a focus on engineering, mathematics, and what we call the STEM curricular. That's science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And then you have Hunter College, which is a major college for individuals who are looking at nursing and education. And I could go on and on, but anyway, you get the picture. And then we also have our community colleges there. We also have John Jay College, which is a major college that produces individuals who are interested in criminal justice careers.
Yeah, and we hold our event every year at Baruch College, which is in Manhattan.
Exactly. In Baruch, the major focus there is business. It's one of the most diverse business colleges within the United States. That is, individuals from all over the world attend that particular college. You have Hispanics, Latins, African Americans, people from Asia, from Central Europe. They all attend this, so it's an extremely diverse college, and also a number of students attend that who go into different careers in public administration and also in business.
And you had to be appointed by the governor or the state legislature? How does that work?
Well, both. And in fact, what happens is that I'm appointed by the governor, and then my appointment has to be approved by the Senate. I have to go before the House Finance Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, and also I have to go before the Senate Education Committee, and then my appointment is voted on by the full Senate before I'm appointed. I've been appointed by three different governors so far.
And it was all the same party or different parties?
No, no. Well, in fact, and that's one of the things I like about education, because it's a non-partisan type of an effort that everybody can agree on. I was appointed first by Governor Pataki, who is a Republican governor. Then my appointment was continued by Elliot Spitzer, who is a Democrat. He appointed me as the vice chair of the board, and then David Patterson continued with my appointment after that. He also is a Democratic, and so the Senate consists of individuals. When you're approved by the Senate, you have individuals from both parties who are there, and so education is something that everybody can agree on. Everybody wants to have a quality education, and everybody agrees that this is the type of effort that we need to have solid people in if we're going to improve our society.
I'm going to ask you a loaded question. Can you answer it without getting into political trouble?
Yes.
Okay. There's been a lot of controversy with the concept of, I know here in Florida, of letting teachers go based upon performance of the classes. Do you agree with that, or how do you feel about that? Do you think it's a good thing? You think it's a bad thing? And whatever your opinion is, why?
I don't know about the specific legislation affecting Florida, but I will tell you that I do feel that in any profession that we have within the United States, individuals have to perform. And so there should be evaluations based on that performance. As you might know, I have a corporate background. I was the vice president of human resources for a major company, Colgate-Palmolive, for several years in domestic and international positions. And also I was the vice president of Global Workplace Initiatives. And so every individual throughout the corporation, they get performance appraisals. That's just the way they operate, and it's based upon performance. And so I also believe that individuals within educational systems need to have some type of standards for performance. What those standards will be have to be agreed upon by the localities. We need to make sure that they're fair. We need to be sure that they are objective, and we need to be sure that they're achievable. And again, I don't know what the specific legislation is affecting individuals here and why individuals were removed from their positions, but I do believe that performance-based efforts are extremely important.
Philip, you are a leading diversity consultant for major corporations and institutions across the nation. The changes that have gone on in the country with outsourcing, where major corporations are now moving to other countries to supply labor. I heard the story where Hoover, for example, I think it was Hoover, the Hoover vacuum cleaner company, left Michigan to go to Mexico, and the governor of Michigan came to Hoover, and they had this big meeting, and they offered him this no taxes, free land, all kinds of benefits. And then the president walked out of the meeting that he had with his board of directors and went back to the governor and said, you know something, you gave us an unbelievable package, but you cannot match $1.53 an hour. So we have to go. With that kind of situation going on, do you think that diversity, the concept of diversity inclusion by major corporations here in the United States is losing footing, or do you think that it still has the same platform it did?
Well, there are a few things that are wrapped up in the question that you ask, and one of those has to do with the fact that we are now in a global economy where a number of companies are looking at how they can diversify from a labor standpoint the production of their particular goods. I feel that companies need to try to get the best cost that they can. However, I feel that companies also have a responsibility to develop their local workforces. I feel that companies have a responsibility to develop people so that way they can contribute to the products and the delivery, the production of goods and services. And that we should try to do as much as possible to have policies in place that will enable companies to develop the type of workforces that they need to develop. Unfortunately, we are in a situation now where there are some companies that don't feel that type of responsibility to develop their workforces here. What they want to do is to have all of their goods just produced overseas and then send them back. I have never worked for that type of company. I don't believe in that type of policy. I believe that companies ought to do something to try to ensure that they can produce products here, but also that they take advantage of the fact that we are in a global economy, and therefore when they are producing products abroad, that they develop people in those countries in order to develop those products. For example, where if you're going to have a factory in a place like South Africa, then you can develop local people there who can supply products for the South African market. You could do the same thing in Russia. You could do the same thing in every part of Latin America or Central America. And so I don't believe that we should only just have individuals producing goods abroad and then just shipping them back here in the United States. However, we have to be aware that in a global economy that we have to be able to, companies are going to be able to source their materials, their raw materials, and their labor, and they're going to take advantage of the global marketplace. We have to remove any barriers that companies will have that are preventing them from developing the type of localities here and developing the communities the way we want them to be developed. And so, for example, we need to have more incentives in place in the United States that give companies the type of tax abatements that would encourage them to contribute and to develop more here. So we need to have the policies in place on a national level that enable us to do that. So it's a mixed bag. It's not an easy answer to this, but I think that if we can approach it from a comprehensive standpoint, looking at our tax policies, looking at the educational framework that we have within a locality, and then figuring out how we can take better advantage of that, then that's going to help everybody. Everybody wins in that situation.
Okay. You also are president of Hispanic Achievers, and everybody just got a very good view of what the president of Hispanic Achievers in North U.S. is about intellectually. Tell us about what Hispanic Achievers does at Baruch College in New York.
Well, what is so important about Hispanic Achievers is that Hispanic Achievers does two things which are extremely important. One, it provides recognition and reward for individuals in corporations who are excelling in certain ways and making tremendous contributions, those individuals who are high potential contributors. And so what we do is we provide a program which highlights and puts a spotlight on the individuals who achieve in that way. At the same time, what we also do through Hispanic Achievers is that we provide scholarship programs for individuals, so that way the scholarship programs can help individuals who are looking to attend college in an affordable way, because the college costs are very expensive. It's just increasing astronomically, and so Hispanic Achievers helps those individuals. Additionally, what we do is that we have at Baruch College, which is a part of the City University of New York, we do an empowerment forum. The empowerment forum is conducted with attendance from college students from not only Baruch College, but a number of the other universities that we have, colleges that we have within the system, and also by individuals who are in corporations. And what's good about having people with that mix of attendance is that you can have individuals who are already in the world of work who can be mentors to individuals who are in college, who are looking for individuals, looking up to individuals and trying to connect with them, so that way they understand what it takes to achieve and where they can go and what are some of the things that they can do. So, so that's why Hispanic Achievers is so important. And the other thing that's fundamental about Hispanic Achievers is that we need to have programs in place that, especially with the growing Hispanic population within the United States, we have to be sure that we provide venues for individuals to achieve, to surpass, to grow, and also to get the type of mentoring and coaching that they need, so that they can be contributing members to organizations. Because, and in a few years, and not too far from now, the largest growing population in the United States is the Hispanic community. And so we ignore that in the United States to our peril. It's extremely important, for us to begin to develop programs that help people to understand what are the career avenues that are open to them, and what are some options that they have in terms of professions that they can go into. So that's what we do with Hispanic Achievers.
Well, that's a lot. I'm glad you're with us.
No, I get as much out of it as I give, believe me.
That's wonderful. And we have Lisa, and Lisa is the president for Hispanic Achievers. You became president in 2011 for Hispanic Achievers in Florida. And there's a different kind of agenda because it is a different market. I know you do job fairs here, you do 3 or 4 job fairs a year, where anybody can go, but the target audience has always been Hispanic, but we get a lot of other groups going there because after all it's a job fair. What else do you do? What else are you planning for Hispanic Achievers in the state of Florida for 2012?
Well, Hispanic Achievers shares the same vision that we have in common with North U.S. and in other chapters that we are developing. I'm glad that Philip mentioned and explained how we enlighten education and how we build bridges between college students, high school students, and corporate personnel as well. So we put them together in forums in which they can share information, education, and also connect so they can create mentorships as well. Hispanic Achievers in Florida, like you said, is more grassroots level, but we also provide services and programs for small businesses and students and the population in general. We have the diversity career fairs in which we connect employers with people that are looking to better their careers or to have a job. So we have that, like you said, 5 times in a year. And we also have the programs for students like the grants, the scholarships, and internships. Actually, this TV show is taped and edited by students from an academy, and that's another way in which we help out with the students. In addition of that, we also have the program Cars for Students, in which we have high schools selecting leaders, leaders at schools, and well, they provide this program in conjunction with Hispanic Achievers to help them succeed and enroll in college. So if they need to work and study at the same way, they have the mechanism. But that is part of what we do. We also have the Hispanic Achievers license plate, in which we are developing and appointing ambassadors in different regions of Florida State. We have already identified ambassadors for the North, South, Central Florida, and Tampa Bay as well. These ambassadors will help us promote diversity and inclusion through our programs, and also will support our efforts with the Hispanic Achievers license plate, which will at the end help us unify or unite the different community groups in the state of Florida, because the plate revenues will really benefit the whole state throughout nonprofits organizations. These funds that will be received through the sales of the license plate will be distributed, 90% of them, to nonprofits throughout the state that are serving and have programs to people from minority communities in the state of Florida. So we are really reaching not only thousands of people, but throughout the years we will be touching millions of people in the state throughout all these nonprofits that will be receiving grants from the Hispanic Achievers license plate. Mm-hmm. So this, with also other educational programs that we have, like seminars to employers. The last one that we had the Commission on Equal Employment Opportunity, which provided really important information about updates and regulations and laws to HR professionals. And so we're plenty. We're very, very busy in the North U.S., the South U.S., and we are also developing the other chapters that we just formed in other states as well.
Yeah, I know we have a chapter is being formed in Texas, another one in Illinois for the Southwest, and one for the Midwest. Exactly. So hopefully that will take off in 2012 and show a lot of benefits to those communities. One of the problems that we've had with the plate is that the plate, we cannot take money from the sales of the plate and invest it into marketing the plate. In other words, there is no money for marketing the plate. So we have to find ways of getting the information that the plate exists out there without spending any money, because there's no allocation. So when the plate went through the state legislature, they did not give us the latitude to promote the plate. So it either has to be word of mouth, free internet, or trying to tag team with chambers of commerce, which I know you have about 5 chambers of commerce, which are now affiliate members of Hispanic Achievers.
Yes, we are developing a great teamwork throughout the state. We have been inviting organizations and chambers of commerce and individuals to join our efforts to let people know about the existence of this new featured specialty license plate, which is available since February at all DMVs throughout the state. So that's why we are developing all these cross promotions throughout the state, so it facilitates the dissemination of information.
Yeah, I know that you have the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce South Florida, the Women's Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce Central Florida, and some other chambers of commerce, and you're doing exchanges with them, with the websites, with their membership, which we didn't have that when we started. So, the old thing, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes,
so we've had to find ways of marketing the plate without money. And Lisa's been started to spearhead that in the fourth quarter of 2011, so that we have a full program going in 2012.
Yes, we also are inviting educational institutions to join these efforts, because at the end it will help out students with grants that we will be providing through the plate revenues, and it's really going to benefit everyone, like I said. So if any person from the audience think that it has a way in which can support us, I invite you to visit our webpage, HispanicAchievers.org, and you can also contact us through 321-277-0850. I will be more than glad and tell you in how many ways you can help us. Yes,
volunteers too. Volunteers.
Yes,
also.
and 90% of the funds are going for grants. It's only 10%
that's governed by law. In other words, the state legislature passed a law that said, okay, Hispanic Achievers invested literally tens of thousands of dollars to get the plate, because it's not free. The state doesn't give it to you for free. And that's probably a reason why a lot of Hispanic organizations didn't take a crack at it, because not only do you have to put up literally tens of thousands of dollars to get the plate, to not even to get the plate, to be able to get to the point of having the state legislature vote on the plate. Because after putting up the money, and I think it was over $40,000, after putting up the money, the state legislature can say no. And we had a hard time with some legislators who didn't want a Hispanic plate. Why a Hispanic license plate? Well, because we put up the money, you can say no, but there was a lot of state legislators who were willing to say yes. And I think the logic of the fact that the plate is celebrating is a commemorative for the 500-year anniversary of Hispanics settling Florida was also a major, which a lot of state legislators didn't recognize. Let's face it, a lot of people here in Florida and across the country think Hispanics are just crossing the border, and because of the illegal issue which has come out of the economic crisis. Because before the economic crisis, nobody was pushing that agenda. Everybody was happy, everybody was making money, but as soon as that economic crisis started to peak out, and a lot of people didn't have jobs, they said, well, we don't have jobs because of the Mexicans. We don't have jobs because Hispanics are crossing which is nonsense, which is absolute nonsense.
Sure.
The reality is, and we're going to do a follow-up show on immigration with an immigration attorney for the next week's show. So I tell everybody to tune in, because you get an earful from me on the immigration situation and the logic of it from the lawyers. But me, I'm very emotional about that subject. So we'll talk about why maybe the United States is not talking Japanese or doesn't have a SWAT stick around the White House because of Mexicans. So, tune in next week and I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you why that is. So I'm sure that after that statement, a lot of people are going to listen. But anyway, the situation with the Hispanic plate, you know, a lot of people thought and think that Hispanics just arrived here, and they didn't. You know, it was the governor of Puerto Rico, Juan Ponce de Leon, who actually got on a ship and landed on the peninsula of Florida. He was the first documented European who was Hispanic to land on the shores. Now, the indigenous people were here. Yeah, there's no question about that. You know, we didn't discover Florida. You know, that goes back to the beginning of man. You know, but the reality is the first Europeans that landed here were Spanish, from the Spanish language, and that organized Florida as a government with actual borders and defined it.
And that happened in 1513.
That happened in 1513, which is now a 500-year anniversary, and the license plate was put through the state legislature as the commemorative, for commemorating that happening. And there's going to be a 500-year celebration. So on the plate itself, if you look at the plate, it says 1513 on it. It actually says since 1513. So the plate has a lot. It represents the pride of the Hispanic community that we have been contributing to the economy of Florida, the state of Florida, and the nation for 500 years now. You know, 250 years before George Washington actually was born, Hispanics built St. Augustine, which is a city built by Hispanics in 16, I believe it was 1565, I believe it was, a long time before the United States of America became a formal country.
Another fact that I would like to mention before ending the topic of the plate is that Florida government also instructed Hispanic Achievers to create a Hispanic Achievers Grand Council. And this Grand Council is comprised of individuals from different segments, from educational institutions, people from the community, from businesses. So we have representation of different regions of the state of Florida in that Hispanic Achievers Grand Council, you know, in which we have an executive committee who is the one that review and vote for the amount of funds that are going to be granted to the nonprofits.
That's a very interesting thing you bring up, and you know I'm always candid. There was a lot of jealousy in the state because we got the plate. We didn't get the plate. We invested the money and we worked hard to get it. It wasn't given to us. And it's really the only statewide mechanism that is officially supported by the government, endorsed by the government, of any Hispanic organization in the state of Florida. You know, we're in partnership with the state of Florida with that plate. And a lot of people envy it, and we've had some political problems because of that. And that's one of the reasons why we got a backlash in the state legislature by some Hispanics who didn't want us to have the plate. They wanted the plate. And, you know, we're not a chamber of commerce, so, you know, we're not, chambers of commerce are usually limited to a region. Hispanic Achievers is not a chamber of commerce. We focus in on Hispanic issues and the support of Hispanic issues vocally and the educational component. So we support Hispanic students. That's our, and jobs, which is our primary function. But we are not a chamber of commerce. And as a result of that, we're getting chambers of commerce to become members of Hispanic Achievers, which is great. And we don't threaten them in any way, shape, or form. We enhance their position. We tell everybody, join your local chamber of commerce, support Hispanic businesses. So that's been a transition that we've been going through so that people could really understand who we are and what we do, instead of combating with us. You know, we're here to enhance your position.
You know, Danny, what's so critical about this license plate, you know, is that throughout this country was founded by immigrants. We've always had immigrants who have founded and contributed, and there's not one person who is in this country right now who is not an immigrant of some particular country. And we need to continue to celebrate that to expand the diversity of this country.
Yeah, the United States is a country made of immigrants. And you know, we have indigenous people, they have their reservations, and they live on their reservations, and they have their own laws, and they have their own governance there under the protection of the United States. But we are 100% a land and nation of immigrants. So for one immigrant family to say, hey, that immigrant family shouldn't be here is I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
That's not being inclusive, and that's what this country was found. And that's the strength and beauty of the United States of America.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you want more information about Hispanic Achievers, www.hispanicachievers.org. The website is broken up into two parts, U.S. North, U.S. South. You can see our programs that are going on in the U.S. North, which Philip Berry is in charge of, and our programs in U.S. South, with Lisa Petrie is in charge of. So, and their email addresses, respectively, are on the website. Again, don't forget that the Hispanic Achievers License Plate, all of the proceeds of the Hispanic Achievers License Plate gets refunded back into the community, into nonprofit organizations by an independent grant council, which is defined by law and the state legislature of Florida. This is what the Hispanic Achievers License Plate looks like. So Orgullo de Ser Hispano, help your community to get the plate. And what our first Hispanic Achievers has projects that it has launched in order for Hispanic Achievers to fund itself. And one of them is this project in 165 7-Eleven stores. We'll see you next week. This is Danny Ramos. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Danny.
Danny.
Lisa, we'll see you tomorrow, and let's have dinner tonight.